You may have seen my video that I did. This has been quite a while ago. It's about finances and money and your relationship with money. And one of the things that I picked up on several years ago that was really, really helpful for me in working through my subconscious hidden beliefs buried deep that I did not know I had was it was a fantastic little visual exercise that I was listening to something from Louise Hay, and she said, "All right, just imagine that you are a magnet for money." And for some reason, I got it in my head, and I maybe she was the one that like specifically said to do it this way, but either she did or I had the brilliant idea to uh, actually pretend that I was a magnet for money, like to visualize it in my mind and just imagine this coming in because I had learned several things, and that one of them was using your senses. Like, can you hear it? Can you feel it? Can you taste it? Like all these different sensory aspects, and being able to apply that into this idea of manifesting, and it will show you what you really believe. So I did that, and what I did was I literally imagined that I like used my imagination. I closed my eyes. I imagined that I was a magnet and that I was like drawing money to me, like $100 bills and just wealth. And my body, like I panicked. Like my body went into this like immediately it was like no 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 no. And so, anyways, long story short, I realized I'm like, wow, this is showing me I have some beliefs about money. And it helped me to go through and start looking at what are the things like why was I feeling this way? Anyways, so I'm working on my body. I had made huge progress in releasing excess weight that I've been carrying around. I hadn't changed how I eat. I didn't like start exercising. I didn't do anything more than what I already do. It's like I already have a pretty healthy diet. I already like move a lot. I live on 2.5 acres of property. We have a lot of things that we do. And I was doing like it just I didn't change how like I said, I didn't change how I ate, didn't change anything. The only thing that I was doing was I was working on all this emotional baggage. I was working on beliefs that I had and stuff, and it was just starting to drop and starting to drop, and I was super excited. I'm like, I knew it. I knew I could do this. So for me, I can for positive say my weight is about like what I'm like trying to hide from and all this other stuff. And so about 2 years ago, it just like it just stopped. Like throw the brakes on really hard. And um and so it's been this huge frustration for like the last 2 years, because then not only did it like slam the brakes, but I started put the weight back on. And I had figured out, I was like, okay, well, it's like I'm using weight to hide from this. I'm using weight to hide from judgment. I'm using weight to like I have this anger and I'm afraid of my anger, and so I'm like using my weight to buffer my anger. Like just all these things, and I've been working on it and working on it. And it was really interesting because I've been feeling to like really work even more on weight. I've been kind of bouncing around all over. And I've been thinking it's like I really need to start working on my weight again and releasing the baggage that I am carrying around with me, because I just know that it's possible, and I want to like be successful at something I know is possible. And I want to experience that. It's like growing up, I was super thin kid. I was super thin, super active, and I'm ready for I want that again. Like consciously I want that again. And and so I've been working on it again, and it was really interesting to me because after I made that decision and after I felt into that, and it's like I was getting confirmations that yeah, it's time to do this. It's time to do this. I started noticing these women that I know that I really think they have these beautiful bodies, just slender, but fit, like not like not like supermodel bodies, like womanly bodies that are beautiful and curvy in all the right places, and they just I don't know, they're bodies that like it was getting my attention. And I was like really having a hard time with this. It's like because I was coming at this from this idea of like I shouldn't be like wanting something I don't have, because it's like I do have an appreciation for, in spite of like the weight that I carry, like all that my body does, and I want to accept myself for who I am and like all of the stuff. And it's like I didn't want this to be something where it's like all jealousy, you know? And so I was like coming at this from this place is like feeling bad that I'm noticing these other bodies and kind of longing to have a body like that. And as I was sitting with that the other night, because it got my attention again. It was like in my face. And I was sitting there thinking about it. And all of a sudden the idea came. It's like, you know, I did this with money. Maybe I should do this with a body thing. Maybe I've got something going on that maybe subconsciously I don't want this, even though consciously I do. And so that's what I did. I thought about, okay, well, you know, this one body is like, if this were like, you know, paper dolls or like a doll or something, like, I don't know, just like if I could just put on a body like a suit kind of a thing. And so that's what I did. I closed my eyes and I imagined doing that. And the emotion that welled up in me was like, oh, it was like there was like this anger that like made no sense to me. And like I could feel this like this echo of crying and like all this stuff. So I was like tapping through it and I was doing some energy releases around it and everything. And it wasn't so much a pushing away, but it's like, you cannot get me to step into that body. Like no way. We are not stepping into that body. It is not safe to step into that body. I'm like, okay, this is good to know. So I did some more work and I did some more work and I'm like, okay. So then I started asking the question. It's like, why is it not safe to step into that body? Or like just doing some of the work of like just imagining that I was going to step into this body. And it was like crazy because I have this memory of being this little kid and we had already been swimming and we changed our clothes and everything and our bathing suits were like set out to dry and somehow or another something came up and there was like opportunity to go swimming again. And well, we only had one bathing suit. And so it was like so exciting. And so I ran to put on this bathing suit and it was so uncomfortable. It was cold and it was like just clammy and uncomfortable until I had been wearing it. And that's like when I was doing this imagery of like, okay, I can do this. You know, it's like I've worked through this stuff and I'm not opposed to like, it is no longer a safety thing to be able to step into this body. It's like this new, like, okay, I can do this. You know, it's like, we're doing this. And so it's like, I'm imagining myself like putting on this other body. And that was the feeling that came up, was just this cold and this clammy feeling. And it was so uncomfortable. But yet like I was able to put it on and just like kind of just sit in it and just like kind of like, okay, what am I feeling? What am I feeling? What am I feeling? Is like, okay, like tapping through it, like breathe. And it's so, to me, it was kind of comical. But I've been doing that like on a daily basis. Like imagine putting on this body, and it's been fascinating to work through, like take 5-10 minutes to work through what am I feeling and breathe and tap. And like there have been certain things I thought it was fascinating. It's like it was like acknowledging I am like I couldn't even do a release for the emotion. It was like I'm acknowledging that this is what I'm feeling, and I just breathe through it and breathe through it. And it's like, okay, we're done. And then like the next day, it was like, oh, okay, I don't need to like acknowledge this. It's like, okay, but it's still here. It's like, okay. And it's like, can I release it? It's like, nope, I can't release it. It's like, but you know what? I can start processing it. So it's like, okay, I'm starting to process this emotion. It's like, it's okay. I can process this emotion. And then like the next day I would do a release. And so I had to take this in steps. If you are working on your weight, this is one way that you can do some self-work and find some of these hidden beliefs, feelings, safeties, like whatever you want to call it, because your soul is not going to let you take on or manifest or achieve or anything like that, anything that is going to cause it harm or distress or like any of those things. it will. It's like if there's something else going on, like if you have a belief for something that it's like I deserve to have negative experiences, or like I deserve to have bad things happen to me, or like bad things happen to my I mean, there are things like that that like, yeah, you're gonna like attract stuff like that into your life. But you're conscious, your right of consciousness is not going to let you have something that you are actively pushing away from you. So you might consciously want something, but your right of conscious, which is your subconscious, is saying, oh no, you don't. So try that on for size. Do you see what I did there? Try that on. Try using your skills of imagination to tune into your body, physical, emotional, mental reactions. And if nothing else, just notice it. And you can start working with that. Now that I've been working on this for like a little bit more than a week, there was one thing that I found, and it was like, no, I can't do that. I can't do that body. It needs to have a little something different. And so my idea tonight was like, I should start looking. Look around. What kind of a body, like, go shopping. Basically, it's like, go shopping. What would feel comfortable to me that is in that world of I'm still at my ideal me body wise? Because you know what? Quite frankly, it is not going to look like a size 6 like what everybody else, like all the. It is not going to be what the world looks like as far as what's ideal for me. It's like what's ideal for me is like something that is very unique to me, and that's what I'm wanting to discover, is like what is it that's right for me. And so I'm super excited. I'm gonna like start body shopping, and then it gives me something even more specific to then use that practice on, to practice that trying on the body, the paper doll concept, of trying it on. It's like, what does it feel like, and how do I feel, and what am I noticing, and just those kinds of things. So go try that out. Give you an earthquake here for a second. It's like, go try that out, and um and play with it. Play with it. It's like your healing can be playful. So play with it, and discover what those inner subconscious beliefs are that are hindering and in opposition to you having what you consciously desire. So all right, we'll talk to you later. Bye.